Opposition leader Anthony Albanese says Australia is not prepared enough to handle rising COVID case numbers and hospital admissions. He spoke a short time ago in Ingham in Queensland, also expressing his support for nearby regions affected by floods.
I've been engaged with businesses here over the last 4 days. We're now on day 4 of this visit, and I look forward to meeting with the Mayor and with other community leaders here in Ingham before we then travel on to Townsville this afternoon. This has been a success up to this point, but we've also had a backdrop of 2 things. One, just further south of here, I spoke with George Seymour earlier this morning, the Mayor of Fraser Coast. They're doing it really tough. These floods are very sudden, the rise in waters, the extraordinary amount of rainfall that occurred overnight just a day and a bit ago has had a real impact, and of course the loss of life tragically of a man in his car who died because of flood waters. So I have spoken with the Mayor, and certainly we'll be providing whatever support we can. But I think all Australians today will be thinking of the people of Fraser Coast, the people of the Wide Bay region and others who've been impacted by the aftermath of this cyclone. Secondly, of course, people are on an ongoing basis concerned about the federal government's failure when it comes to preparation for what we're going through with COVID. We continue to have record numbers. We have rising numbers of people in hospital, rising numbers in ICU. We have rising numbers of infections. We have people who can't get booster shots. We have people who can't get food from their supermarket with the shortages that are there because of issues with the supply chain. And we have a major issue with regard to children as well. Students are supposed to get their vaccines from tomorrow. What we're finding is that parents are anxious because they can't get appointments for their children, and that's a major problem. We need to make sure that that is addressed. And this government have had a long time to prepare, making sure that supply was okay. But once again, this Prime Minister is characterised by ensuring that a problem becomes a crisis before there's any action. Well, the problem at the moment is that parents can't get their children vaccinated. That's leading to announcements such as the one from Premier Palaszczuk about a delay in school returning. That will have, of course, a further impact on the workforce and a further impact on the economy. We know that from the very beginning you had to get the health outcomes right in order to minimise the economic impact. That's something that this Prime Minister never understood. He was too slow on the rollout of the vaccine, never did anything on purpose-built quarantine, has delayed the boosters because of the slow rollout of the vaccine, and didn't prepare for a rollout of rapid antigen tests, even though they were approved by the TGA in September, and the AMA and others were saying you need to be prepared. But here we have in Australia rapid antigen tests being produced here, being sent overseas while there's a shortage here because the federal government wasn't interested in purchasing those tests. And then you have the absurdity of a government that's created $1 trillion of debt, that has created a massive windfall for some businesses who've received payments in JobKeeper, even though their profits were rising, saying that when it comes to accessing rapid antigen tests, unless you're on welfare, you're on your own. This Prime Minister says that he wants government to stay out of people's lives. Well, people expect government to provide them with some support at a critical time and at a crisis, which is what we're going through right now.